Okay. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Another jewel from our jewels. You know, we all look forward to these every single week. They're like the highlight of my Thursday mornings. And I'm so excited for today's guest. We have Corinne, and she is our Diamond Ambassador. And I'm just so blessed to have met her and the girls. Alyssa, we had on a couple weeks ago, and these are the two I was telling you that are like we're amazing business partners, and I've done this all together, and I love that, and that's what I encourage all of us to do, is to find somebody like that. I'm sure Corinne will talk about that. So I'm going to just let Corinne go so she can have this next half hour with us, and we're so thankful that you're here with us.
Okay, thank you so much, Cindy. Hi, guys. I'm excited to be here, tell you a little bit about my journey, and share a few things that I feel like have helped me get where I am now. So when I started solely as a wholesale customer. I signed up right away in July of 2013. So I'll almost be at 3 years this summer. And when I did solely for the products, pretty much, wanted to lose 10, 20 pounds. And Alyssa Snyder, who was on your call, I think last week or the week before, she was a friend of mine I met. I live in Louisiana right now, and I'm not from here. I've only been here for 4 years. And I actually met Alyssa at the mall when I first moved here. We just kind of saw each other at the mall, started talking, exchanged information and whatnot. And so when she started Plexus, it was the same month I did. She had contacted me and told me about it. And by the end of the month, I said, all right, I'll try it. No problem. So I think I did a 3-day trial and liked it and ended up signing up as an ambassador right then and there. I had no interest in a business. I had been a school teacher. I taught middle school English for 11 years. In Ohio and then in South Dakota. And then we had moved to Louisiana, and I had 2 young girls, and I decided to stay at home. And so I was fortunate enough, my husband had a good job. I was able to stay at home with them. So when I started Plexus, I had been home with them for like a year and loved the products. Took them for, 5, 6 months. Didn't tell anyone really at all. And then it was getting time where my youngest was going to start kindergarten about a year and a half later. And so my husband said, well, are you going to teach in Louisiana? Like, what are you going to do when she goes back to school? And I had not gotten my Louisiana teaching license or transferred anything. And I knew it was a problem just because we had moved states several times, and I know it's like a process. And I just wasn't my heart wasn't into going back to teaching full time. And so he's like, if you can make $1,000 a month, doing whatever, maybe you could, it would be okay. We could make this work. So I decided, okay, let's try Plexus. I'll post on Facebook. And I talked to Alyssa, and she had pretty much stopped working her Plexus business totally. And we decided, let's give it 1 year. And I always tell my new people that you have to put like a time frame on it. Don't just say, okay, I'm going to post and see what happens, because it doesn't just take off for everyone. It didn't for me. It doesn't for most people. So a year, even 6 months, I think is a good time frame, but anything less than 6 months, you're not really giving it an honest effort. So that's like the first thing I tell my ambassadors who want to work the business. But I said I'd give myself a year. And so Alyssa and I talked, and we said we're going to post every single day. We don't care what anybody thinks. We'll just deal with the haters. And if people make fun of us, we didn't know. So we started posting, and it did take me a little while. It wasn't, I think maybe it took me 5 months from that point to go gold. So really from the time I signed up to the time I went gold was like 10 months. So, I always encourage people, you don't have to come right out of the gate running and, just don't give up. It'll happen. I really think it'll happen for everyone. Everyone's on different kind of timelines here. So, I had people that quit on me and came back and got their money, back, that used the 60-day money back guarantee, and then ended up being huge ambassadors. One of my, probably my strongest leg, I have 2 really strong legs. And one of them, she actually got her money back and was my customer and told me she'd come back in a few months when she was, more set on it. Came back and I stuck with her, which you got to stick with people. And she actually just went diamond. So,
Wow.
I mean, somebody who got their money back, like how crazy is that? So, and then the other person that's my really strong leg just went sapphire, and she ignored me. I had messaged her. She ignored me for like 3 months. And finally, got back to me and said, okay, well, tell me a little bit more about Plexus. And now she's, going to be quitting her teaching job this year. And I'm sure she'll go diamond in the next couple months. So don't give up on those people that you think would really be amazing and have that, vibrant personality that know a lot of people, because you just never know. The other thing, don't give up on, I don't think there's any kind of typical person that does Plexus. My mom is one of my ambassadors, and she should go Ruby this month. She works harder than anybody I know. I mean, she is just really going after it, and she's got a different approach to it than I do, just because our audiences are different, but she is doing awesome. And so I think anybody can be a good ambassador, and it just takes dedication, not giving up, keeping going through everything. Like Cindy said, with Alyssa and I, we always talk about having a power partner, because I don't really I went diamond before she did, even though she was my upline, and it didn't matter, and I don't look, we just we're partners. We don't look at each other as upline, downline. It doesn't seem to matter to us. But we didn't plan on doing like that. I think, I talk about power partners, and everybody thinks they need to go find like their best friend, or they need to go find somebody right now and say, okay, you're my power partner, let's do this, and just think it's going to happen. I think like the best kind of power partners just sort of all of a sudden, you're 4 or 5 months into your journey and you realize, wow, I talk to that person every day, and wow, they give me ideas and I give them ideas. So I think like sometimes people get so focused on just, let's find that one power partner. And I think it's more of like a natural thing. Mm-hmm. The other thing with power partners, we have so many women in this business. And of course, you're going to have some drama. You're going to have things that happen. You're going to have people's feelings that get hurt. It has happened to all of us. Alyssa will admit it too. I mean, her and I are best friends. We do this together. We live 10 minutes apart. Every time we travel anywhere, we go together. Done all of it together. But I mean, we've had our fair share of issues. We have very different personalities. And I think we have learned so much how to, play on each other's strengths. Before it was we just didn't know how to do that. And we constantly, had issues coming up between the two of us. And so I think like that's really important. Professional development for me has been huge, huge, huge. And I actually have one of my favorite books I brought here. I don't know if you've read this or not, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself is amazing. It's like $8 on Amazon, and you should definitely buy it. It's, it's not about multi-level marketing. It's not about anything like that. I do have a degree in psychology, so I love stuff like this, but it just helps you, just your overall like sense of well-being and kind of getting your mind clear with life. And I think that will go into your Plexus business. If you wake up and you read positive affirmations, before you check your phone, before you check Facebook and all your messages, and, hearing complaints from people, you have to have like positive thoughts going through your mind. So going back sort of to that and to my journey, I, last year, let's see, 2014, I, really started off and went gold, and, within 5 months or so. And then that fall, it really picked up, and I started getting people. And that's the thing, it just takes time. For me, I live down in Louisiana. So there's I don't even know, 40 jewels in Louisiana now. Mm-hmm. It's everywhere. Like we have billboards that have Plexus signs on it that people have purchased, and they're everywhere. Wow. I can wear a Plexus shirt and see every time I go to a vendor show, there's Plexus people. I mean, it's everywhere. So one, I think it's important to know that because of Facebook, it's such a huge thing. If you feel like you live in a swamped area, like it doesn't matter. I mean, the Facebook and your friends group is, your limits. So, friend as many people as you can, because it doesn't matter where everybody lives. they were in Ohio because that's where I grew up and I went to college. And when I started posting, I think they thought I was crazy. I mean, I was by far the first person they had heard of Plexus from. Nobody that I went to high school or college with had heard of Plexus. So it took me a while of posting every single day and getting no likes, no comments, and just knowing I know they're reading. And it was 6-7 months, before I went gold and senior gold. And then there was a good span of time. I think it was like senior gold ruby, senior ruby, like right in a row, just because people started catching on. And, you get the right people on your team and it can take off really quickly. So then, let's see, 2015 happened, which was a kind of up and down for me. I mean, if you look at my business, you would think it was very positive. And I went emerald in January, and then I went sapphire in March, and then I went diamond in June. So really fast. It was really fun, and I worked 24/7. I didn't have much balance in my life. And, I have 2 kids, and I'm supposed to be the stay-at-home mom. And they were, my youngest was still in, preschool or whatever. So I had her most of the day. But it is definitely hard on your family. And I don't know if I regret it, but I just went really fast and I did it so much. And I think that there's something to say for, having a good balance in your life and not being in a race to get to emerald or a race to get to diamond or whatever your goal is, and kind of letting it, you got to work every day. Definitely. If you put in an hour every day or 2 hours every day, whatever it is. But, if you're putting in so much time that it takes away from your family, you kind of wonder, like, is this really worth it? And there were lots of things that kind of contributed to my personal family breakdown. But I'm actually currently going through a divorce right now. And that, I don't necessarily think it was totally my fault. However, I know that I did spend a lot of time on Plexus last year, and it was away from my family because I had these goals and I wanted to reach them. And I think that, I don't know if I could have done anything differently, but I think like balance is huge. But now I look at, this and I'm able to stay in my house with my kids, and it's all because of Plexus. So it's just it's a very emotional thing for me personally, because I've lost things, but I've gained things too. And I feel like maybe this was for the best. And maybe, Plexus really brought about a confidence in myself. I was a teacher before. I was very like in the box type person. My husband's a banker, and I was a teacher. We have 2 kids and a dog and a nice house, and everything seemed just wonderful. And Plexus kind of threw a huge like wrench in our life, and I loved it, and I just took off with it, and kind of felt like I found my niche and I found my people. I love Plexus people. Like, it doesn't matter what team you're on. Everyone's so nice. I've never had issues with anyone on any other team. I'm always willing to help people. I've had people help me a ton since I've started also. So definitely reach out. If you feel like you have a connection to somebody you're Facebook friends with that is, doing Plexus also, just send them a message. I've sent random messages to people throughout the last 2 years just saying, hey, I saw this post and I like how you said this, or, I also have 2 daughters and, I'm struggling with this. And I've like actually gotten some really, really good friends on other teams that, I didn't meet till we went to Maui, or I didn't meet till so much longer. But, we talked on the phone, we did Zooms, helped each other so much. And I just feel like Plexus people are so awesome, and you can definitely find partners, friends within Plexus. Mm-hmm. The other thing that I want to talk about that is more for your own business is that I just feel really passionate about, and I've done several calls on for my team also, is all about expanding your network. It doesn't matter if you start with 200 Facebook friends or 1,000 Facebook friends. You always want to expand your network. Obviously, building relationships is like the number one thing, right? That's like the first thing that you need to think about. So you're not just puking Plexus on everyone. I definitely don't do that. You've got to like kind of get to know somebody first. And yeah, that takes more time, but you never know if that person will be like your next rock star. I mean, it's worth it to build a relationship first, because that will get them to want to try it, to trust you, and then to keep going. On Facebook, I try to just always be friending people. You can't always friend Plexus people though, right? Because they're already in Plexus. You got to friend people that aren't in Plexus that can be your potential customers. If you're in any groups, like I'm big with a lot of different groups, you got to find your interests. And then there are groups on Facebook that are for those interests. You know, if you like horseback riding, you like chalk paint, you like gardening, whatever it is, search on Facebook. If you go into the little search thing at the top and then search, you know, whatever, clean eating. Say you're really into clean eating. Search clean eating. But then what you do is there's like little tabs underneath. You got to, on mine, I have to actually press the arrow to scroll over, and then you click on groups. And any groups that have the words clean eating in the group name will show up. And then I just would go down there. You know, there will be clean eating with kids, clean eating challenge, clean eating accountability groups. I mean, just tons of groups, and add yourself to those groups. So that way now you're in all these new groups with people that you have a commonality with. And then you kind of get to know them. You can't just sit there. I mean, they don't let you just go in and friend request everyone, and you don't want to do that because you're not building a relationship. But what you can do is if you're in one of these groups and say they post a recipe and you like the recipe, comment on that person's thing. Wow, that sounds like a great recipe. Thanks for sharing. They'll see that you commented on their post in the group, and you know, they'll probably like it or say, no problem, you're welcome, and then friend request the person. So they kind of know they're not just getting this random friend request from this stranger, that it's like, okay, well, gosh, you know, she's in my clean eating group. She liked this recipe I posted. You know, we'll do it that way. I have gotten so many ambassadors this way. You know, because I have 2 young daughters, I'm in different groups for children's clothing, and we'll post pictures of our kids, you know, wearing different outfits and comment on each other's kids. And anytime people comment on my stuff or I comment on theirs, I will friend that person. And I have so many ambassadors and gotten so many customers that way, because you're building that relationship. Actually, one of my girls that I have, I've actually never met her, and we have gotten to be such good friends. She's from a group that I'm in, a clothing group that I'm in, and she lives in Boston. I'm down in Louisiana, and she's doing really, really well. She's actually, I haven't filmed my diamond documentary, even though I went diamond a year ago. It's just because it's been kind of a crazy past year personally for me. I put it off, but I have it scheduled, and it's going to be, we're filming it. I'm going to go up to Ohio to film it, and it's going to be up in Ohio in June. And she is actually, this is going to be right before convention. And she's actually flying to Ohio to my parents' house and going to, you know, be in my documentary with me. And I've never met the girl, like never. I do Zooms with her team, and we get along great, but we get along great because we had that commonality. You know, we formed a relationship based on clothes. I know that sounds crazy and superficial, but we had an interest, and then she started asking me about Plexus, and it went from there. And she actually was able to quit her job a couple months ago, and she is like working hard and just loves it, loves it. So I'm super excited about that. But get in those groups, whatever you're interested in. There's so many groups out there on Facebook, and then make relationships in that, in your groups, and then add those people to your Facebook page. You don't have to puke Plexus on anyone. I don't recommend doing that. I definitely don't do that at all. But you know, once you're Facebook friends with them, they're going to start seeing your posts. If you're posting every day, which you should be, they'll start to see your stuff. The other thing that I like to do is forming my own groups. So if, you know, since I have kids, last year my daughter did cheerleading. And so she was on a cheer team. So I volunteered to make a group on Facebook with all the cheer moms. And so that when we go to these competitions and I'm taking pictures, you know, sometimes all the girls kind of look alike in their hair and their uniforms and everything. And so you're taking pictures. Sometimes you think it's your child, but it's somebody else. And so I said, let's form a group on Facebook, And then after competitions, we can put all the pictures in the group so that, if I have pictures of your kids, we just have them all there. So I formed the group, and then at practice one day, we kind of said, okay, this is what the group is called. Everybody add yourself to it. Well, then I was able to go and then I friended all those moms. So these are people, my daughter, she did cheer last year and it was, in Baton Rouge. Kids go to all different schools. It's not a small town. And I think there was only one of the moms that I actually knew. So then I added like 18 friends in one day. The other thing is like, does your neighborhood, that if you live in a neighborhood, do they have a Facebook group? A lot of them already do, just, for homeowners association type things and to get announcements out. If it does, go in there. And if you're a part of it, go to the members and then look at the members. And then I would just friend request all of them. They're going to see, oh, okay, we have a few mutual friends. They must live in the neighborhood. If you don't have a neighborhood Facebook group, I would recommend starting one. I mean, why not? I think, people do, a lot of neighborhoods, at least down here, get together and have things and people are moving in and out. It's nice to kind of have that. It doesn't have to be an active group. Your goal is really to get new Facebook friends. So you're forming the group for that purpose. If it, people start posting in your neighborhood group about other things, great. But your main purpose is to add to your Facebook friend list. The other thing, resale sites. I don't know how many of you get into the resale sites. It's hit or miss. I've done it. Alyssa and I did it a ton when we started, and it can be good. I do have a couple ambassadors who are still sticking with it from resale sites. But I find a lot of times with resale sites, it's a lot of people, which is great, but they don't know you. You have nothing really in common with them. There's no relationship there. So for them to start to all of a sudden, go out on a limb and join you or start to spend $125 a month on these products that you say are wonderful, it's a little bit hard. And I feel like my first year, I might have wasted a lot of time in those resale sites trying to get strangers to do this. So that's kind of a recommendation. Some people have found wonderful people on resale sites that have done really well. I have a couple of girls that are doing well. But it was just harder because they didn't know me and we had nothing really in common. So I think, although that's definitely an option and, I've done it, most people probably have tried it, trying to add to your friends list with people that you have similarities to, that you have things that in common with, that you can discuss other than Plexus, right? Because you're trying to build this relationship. That's really more kind of where I focus a lot of my attention when I have new ambassadors. It's like something I talk to them about, we need to add to your friends list. Even if, if you have 200 Facebook friends, that's fine. I mean, that's still 200 people you're going to share Plexus with daily. But we can always add more. So it's just about finding those people. The other way that I add Facebook friends to my list is, when you're out and about. I'm not one to just go up to strangers and start talking about Plexus. I don't think I've ever done that, actually. My upline, Alyssa, like I was saying, we're very different. That girl will do that to anybody. And I think that's fabulous. And she's always trying to challenge me to do it. And I'm just like, that's so out of my comfort zone. I wouldn't even know what to say. But what I can do is when I'm standing in line at the grocery store, waiting to check out, and there's a mom next to me and she's, yawning or complaining she's tired. I have no problem saying, oh my gosh, I totally understand. I used to be so tired too. Have you ever heard of Plexus? And, sometimes they, down here, half the time they're like, oh, I have heard of that. Is that pink drink? And then I can explain it a little bit more. If they say, no, what's that? I don't go into it a lot. I just say, oh, it's this natural drink and I just love it. And I used to be so tired and it helps keep my energy up during the day. I actually post a lot about it on Facebook. Are you on Facebook? Ask them if they're on Facebook. They're not going to friend request you. If you, even giving them a business card, I'll be honest, I don't hand out that many business cards because I just feel like people probably throw it away. Facebook for me is huge. 98% of my business came from Facebook. So I will pull out my phone right there, and they're like, well, yeah, I'm on Facebook, because basically everybody is, it seems like these days, and say, oh, great, here, let me friend request you right now. And, you know, you can accept and, you know, I can share some more information about Plexus if you're interested. If not, no big deal. I've never had somebody say, no, I don't want you to friend request me. But you have to do it right there. Like, that's the biggest part. You can't just get their name. You can't do anything like that. I usually pull out my phone. You know, they're like, okay, my name is, you know, Mary Smith. And I look it up. You know, there's a million Mary Smiths. Make sure you got the right one. Show it to them. Send them the friend request. And then I usually screenshot it real quick. Because then, you know, you're checking out, she's checking out, you part ways. And you don't want to forget who that person was, because you don't know. I mean, sometimes they might not accept your friend request. You don't know. And I have so much going on, you know, you forget names all the time. So, but I've got that screenshot, and usually, you know, a day or two goes by and I'll send that person a message like, hey, so-and-so, you know, I met you at Walmart the other day. I had mentioned Plexus. You know, thanks for accepting my friend request. I post a lot about it. Let me know if you have any questions. So I'm not like throwing up Plexus on them. I'm not like giving them a ton of information, because nobody wants to feel like they're sold to all the time. That's, I think, the biggest thing, building those relationships first. I will follow up with the person. You know, just did a call. I don't think I have my paper here. I just did a call yesterday, and it was like stats about, you know, follow-up. And it said, I don't remember the specific, you guys probably have already seen this, but there were specific percentages of follow-up. And pretty much, I think it came down to like 80% of when people are going to say yes is on the 8th to the 12th attempt. Like the 8th to the 12th time they've heard about something, you know, been approached about something. So, you know, you're not going to get somebody on the first or second try. I mean, it just doesn't happen. So kind of looking at that and, you know, sending them a message, like leave them alone for a little while, a week or so, and send them another message. Hey, you know, if you're running a little special, like that's the best way, I think. You know, hey, I'm doing a little special, you know, the next couple days for $10 back for if you try these products as a customer, you know, you get a 60-day money back guarantee. If you're interested, let me know. And I'd love to, you know, hook you up with it and tell you a little bit more about it. I'll send videos to people, you know, lots of YouTube videos, diamond documentaries, if I kind of feel like they, you know, were similar to someone. I mean, I don't have my own diamond documentary yet. So don't feel like, gosh, well, I don't have mine. Like, I don't either. I never have. I always use everybody else's until I get my own. So, you know, there's definitely ways to grow your business. I'm a huge proponent, obviously, of Facebook. I know there's lots of ways outside of Facebook, but for me, it's worked so well, you know, on Facebook and just not giving up. And I think probably everybody would say that, not giving up. Don't worry if you make mistakes. I think somebody said the other day, well, you know, you're only diamond because you've made more mistakes than I have. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. I've made so many mistakes the last 2.5 years, still make mistakes, still think that there's things I wish I would have changed. But, you know, we're all on our own journey here, and we'll all get there, you know, when we're meant to get there, and kind of life happens as it's meant to happen, I believe. So it's just about not giving up, getting yourself to events, going to convention is huge, huge, huge. So that's all I have. Is that okay?
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. I have like a whole entire pages of notes. Holding a baby even.
How sweet.
Yeah. So no, we thank you so much. We learned so much today, and we're excited. I'm excited to go do some things on my Facebook.
Yes, definitely. And
my daughter's sitting here in my office, and she was doing it the whole time we were talking.
Oh, good. Well, let me know if you have questions about it or anything like that. I definitely will help.
Can I ask a quick question, Cindy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Corinne, on your Facebook page, you know how people put Plexus banners across the top, and when you're meeting these new people and you're joining these groups, do you have a Plexus banner? Because to me, if they see that, they're gonna go no.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
I just, because it's, like you said, it's so salesy, you know, like, don't, like, let them get to know you first. Like, they'll see your Plexus post. You don't have to have a Plexus banner or anything like that. I never do. I mean, I think I did have a picture of my team once, but you wouldn't have, I mean, it could have been any company. Now I think it's just a picture of me and my kids.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yay! Well, thank you so much. Another awesome time with a diamond. We feel so blessed to be with you.
Yeah.
And appreciate every second that you spent with us. So thank you and have a wonderful day. And if everybody wants to unmute and thank